Trump's Monday COVID-19 presser was a complete and utter circus. And it's because he invited the founder of a pillow company, MyPillow. That's the name. Very creative. Anyway, so he invites this guy on to talk about how he's supposedly helping in the efforts to provide medical supplies, which are desperately needed right now. But it kind of went off the rails when he decided to start talking about the importance of something that actually wouldn't help the majority of Americans right now while applauding Trump. Take a look.
Now I wrote something off the cuff, if I can read this. Okay. God gave us grace on November 8, 2016 to change the course we were on. God had been taken out of our schools and lives. A nation had turned its back on God. And I encourage you to use this time at home to get back in the Word, read our Bibles, and spend time with our families. Our president gave us so much hope where just a few short months ago, we had the best economy, the lowest unemployment, and wages going up. It was amazing.
So that was Michael Lindell. Again, he is the CEO and founder of MyPillow, and he's also someone who's donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to Donald Trump. And what you should notice about Trump's pressers, which are supposed to be about COVID-19, is that he has decided to use those pressers to campaign. And what he's doing by having people like Lindell go up there is basically saying to all of these executives and all these corporations, hey, you do me favors, I'll do you favors. To me, this is such brazen corruption. And, you know, Trump supporters are like, oh, well, he's gonna make masks for doctors. Except the masks that the doctors need are different from the masks that he's going to provide. And I'll get to those details in a minute. But Cenk, I want you to jump in.
Yeah, so the corruption has many layers here. Lindell is thinking of running for governor in Minnesota as, of course, a Republican. So it helps the Republican Party to publicize him more. He's also given money to Trump. So being a donor of his, then Trump does an infomercial for him, says, oh, I use this pillow. It's great. It's amazing. But why are we having an infomercial for a pillow in the middle of the coronavirus? And this character is wild, outrageous, as Anna is about to explain to you guys. But honestly, I don't believe a word he says based on his past. And so when he says he's creating masks that are going to help people, after reading his history, I thought, no, he's not. I don't believe him for a second.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about his ties to Trump, because I think that's super relevant. First of all, it's a huge problem that Trump is using these pressers, which, you know, is supposed to give people accurate information about something so serious. It's a life or death situation that most Americans are dealing with right now. And Trump is using this to campaign. But look, Michael Lindell has given Trump a whopping $200,000 in the form of campaign contributions and the like. He also appeared on the campaign trail in support of Trump a number of times. On July 9th, 2017, MyPillow was featured at a Made in America roundtable at the White House, where President Trump personally endorsed the product. Okay, and then to your point, Cenk, Trump has been encouraging him to run for governor of Minnesota. Politico reported that Lindell told associates that the president is encouraging him to run for governor of Minnesota in 2022 to, quote, keep Minnesota red beyond the 2020 election. People are upset at the criticism that Lindell is getting because they're like, oh, he's a good person. He's a good American. He's using, you know, one of his factories to manufacture these masks that the healthcare professionals desperately need right now. Except here's the difference between the masks that he's, you know, providing and the masks that the doctors and nurses need. Doctors and nurses need something known as N95 respirator masks. These are incredibly effective at preventing the doctors from getting COVID-19. But the masks that he would provide would be made from cotton. They would be more like surgical masks that would stop some splashes and droplets and can prevent a sick person from spreading the germs. But it does not protect the healthcare professional from contracting the virus itself. Now, I bring that up because that difference is important. But one other thing I want to bring up is there have been a number of people throughout the country who have been providing the same masks that Lindell is supposedly manufacturing, right? I'm talking about private citizens. I'm talking about actual like small companies of good people who are not expecting giant government contracts to do this. And why is it that Trump hasn't highlighted their stories? Could it be because this is blatant corruption right in front of our faces and he's trading favors with his campaign supporters? It's disgusting.
A couple of things here. Even people who work for him say he reminds them of Trump in that he will make wild, outlandish claims and then just never follow up. Like he'll say, "Oh, I'm going to do this big, amazing thing," and it might not be something that's charitable, just something they're going to do at work or etc. This is his contacts, his associates that are saying this, and then he'll just let it go and they paint it as like, well, he's a big thinker. He's a big thinker, right? No, he's a big liar, is what he is, and so he claims that he's going to turn 75% of his production into making these masks. There's no way a Republican guy who's obsessed with his business, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But he's going to, give up profits? No, that means he's either going to make more money from the masks or it isn't true. I'm predicting it ahead of time right now for you. I'm not saying that I have any secret information about his production facility. I'm telling you what I think is going to happen in the future. And I'm going to follow up on it because I don't believe this guy at all. Even his close friends and associates don't believe him. He makes up stuff all the time and never follows through. Like his beloved Donald Trump, who he thinks was brought to us by God. He didn't just say that in the speech that you saw. He said it multiple times, that God chose Donald Trump. These guys are all peas in a lunatic pod.
Yeah, so I wanted to also, buttress your point by giving you a little more information about this man's character so you can, judge for yourself whether or not he's trustworthy. So when Donald Trump provided the wealthy that massive $2 trillion tax cut, Lindell wanted to support Trump, of course, because he's a millionaire himself, by going out and telling the media, because of Trump's tax cuts, I have raised the wages of my workers. And guess what he did right after that? He laid off 150 of his workers. Okay, that's who Lindell is. And no, I'm not going to be intimidated into thinking like, no, he's a great guy. He's doing a public service. I personally don't trust him. And it's based on the lies that he's told on behalf of Donald Trump in the past.
Yeah, this guy's got scam artists written all over him. And if he's not, and we do follow up, and it turns out he made masks, and, it's okay if he profits off of it, but, but it was reasonable. It wasn't like price gouging, and he actually helped people, then we will come back and tell you that because we care about reality. We care about the truth. But everything in his past indicates that is not how this movie is likely to turn out. Look, so this guy used to be a crack addict. And so I don't say that like, ha. We're progressives. We believe in restorative justice. And besides which, that's a health condition. A lot of folks wind up getting addicted to different things and we feel bad for him. And we're thrilled that he came out of it. But even in that story, there's so many things that I don't believe at all. He tells this wild story about how he didn't sleep for 3 weeks. And then every crack dealer in Minnesota made a pledge to not sell him any crack. And that one crack dealer babysat him to make sure that he got some sleep. And he snuck out on him, but none of the crack dealers would sell him crack, even though he offered a $100 bill for crack that was worth $5. None of that story's true. I'm going to pull a Ben Mangus right now. None of that is remotely true. Okay, there's no like the benevolent saints of crack dealers in any given state where they go look out for a guy and then they don't take a $100 bill for a $5 product. This guy is a massive, gargantuan liar. No wonder he likes Donald Trump. And then the last thing is, look at the uneven playing field as always. Look, I'm going to keep it real, and I'm going to keep coming back to this. The media says that progressives like me are disqualified from elections based on a joke that we made in 1999. This guy was a crack addict in 2008 and tells wild, outlandish, preposterous stories about that and everything else. And they're like, oh, he could be governor of Minnesota. This is a good, credible candidate on the Republican side. It's absurd. It's absurd in every way.